What's up everyone and welcome back to the MMA Zone. Today, let's get started with Henry Cejudo versus Yadong had a very weird ending to say the least. Cejudo got eye poked and decided to continue the fight after using up the full 5 minutes. When Cejudo was in his corner, he was telling his coaches that he couldn't see, which resulted the ringside physician to step in and call off the fight. And before we continue, make sure to leave a like on the video to help support the channel. Since they fought 3 rounds, the fight went to decision, and Yadong won. Weirdly, Yadong called for a rematch during his post-fight interview. Dana White was not happy with the comments and shut it down immediately during the press conference.
Obviously, Henry and Song seem like they want to have the rematch. Is that kind of what you're thinking, that they should run that one back? Or?
Not at all.
Not at all? Okay.
Not even a little bit.
Why is that?
I just don't want to see it again.
Dana also thinks that Henry was possibly faking the eye poke in order to finesse a DQ or no contest, as he was already losing the fight.
Song looked good, and yeah, only he can answer those questions.
It was a good competitive.
I don't know if he thought, if I stop here, is this a DQ and no contest, or I don't know what he was thinking, but, or maybe he can't see.
Henry Cejudo posted on Instagram reacting to his stoppage loss. He posted a video talking about the situation and wrote this as the caption: "Thank you to all my fans and all my haters. Well, it's not how I wanted the night to end for the fans, for Song, and definitely not for myself. We need to run this fight back ASAP. Dana White, I heard what you said, but I encourage you to reconsider. All respect to Song, you are a warrior, but you did not win this fight, and I did not lose. We have unfinished business, and I know that you agree. Run it back."
We wanted to finish the fight, man. And obviously I got poked in the eye with 2 damn fingers. And typically, like, when I get poked, like, I'm good. You know what I mean? That's the same reason why I was smiling or whatnot. But after those 5 minutes were up, I still couldn't see anything. Or it's not that I couldn't see anything, I was seeing double. So I just got back from the hospital right now, and I don't even know the term of the diplopia. Diplopia is when, when you get tissue damage in your eye, and you pretty much freaking scratch your retina where you're able to see doubles. And it's unfortunate, dude. Did Song do it intentionally? No. Should there be a point deducted? 100%. I just hope that the UFC could maybe allow replays for things like that, and then the referee can make a decision whether it was, if it wasn't intentional or not. I mean, the dude, as a fighter, one of the first things that the referee says when they go in the back is you cannot stick your fingers out like that. The warning's already said before the fight. I eventually got poked with 2 fingers. I didn't think it was that big of a deal, dude. Honestly, I thought if I was going to recover, the same reason why, because I know how the MMA crowd is. So I was like, hey guys, give me some time. Like, I'm going to feel better. Like this, my eyesight's going to come back. And by the time the 5 minutes were up, dude, I was kind of in the pressure. It's like, dude, well, maybe I even asked the dude, how much time do we have on the clock? And I think he said 1 minute and 16 seconds or whatever. Or my friend has said there's 1 minute and 16 left. And I'm like, maybe I can rough this out. But then one Song came and he got that 5-minute break, and I'm just like, man, I saw 4 arms, dude. But I will say this for Jason Herzog, dude. I'm curious to talk to you, man. Got kicked in the balls a couple times and then eye poked. Bro, something has to be done. You still cannot do this. You know what I'm saying? You got to be here. And then apparently I couldn't see no more. So apparently when the round started, Song was still, dude, they're telling me, I still can't see it, but they're telling me he was kind of like a zombie, with his fingers out. It's unfortunate. But I will say this, man. Dana White, I know you said that you're not interested in that rematch. Dude, let's run it back. Let's run it back, man. Song, dude, there's still 2 rounds left, dude. You know what I mean? The pace was picking up. Dude, look, he was hurt. I would look at my face, look at his face. Dude, we're scrapping. I think we should run it back. So Dana, I respect you. I hope we can run this back with Song, and let's do it soon, dude.
Henry Cejudo also revealed sad news on his health. He captioned the post writing, "Diplopia, soft tissue damage, corneal abrasion. He wanted a way out." Khamzat Chimaev warned for his endurance ahead of DDP fight. Michael Venom Page believes that Khamzat Chimaev is going to hoist the UFC's middleweight title this year, but recently the highlight reel striker had a warning for boars. Although the fight has yet to be announced, the expectation is that Khamzat is going to face the champion Dricus du Plessis next. Chimaev has done nothing but win to date in his pro fighting career, and in October, he ran through the legendary former champion Robert Whittaker. Recently, Page was a guest on the Overdogs podcast with Mike Perry, and the English fighter talked about the fact that his team recently spent some time training with Chimaev. While doing so, Page relayed he's certain that Chimaev will beat DDP if he's able to manage his gas tank.
He looked better in the last fight. Obviously, it didn't last long, so we didn't get to see it, but normally he's like Crash Bandicoot the first round, and then his energy dips. But if he's able to manage his energy and manage his muscular endurance and not go too crazy, I don't see anybody beating him. That's the thing. If anybody was to, it would be Dricus, because that is the muscular endurance. If you look at like some of the fights nowadays, Mirab, Dricus, these guys that have the muscular endurance to be fighting at fighting at 7 the whole fight.
Hard to argue with any of that, and Page is right that DDP has definitely shown he can fight at a pretty high pace and still be dangerous late in the fight. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of game plan the champion employs, or at least the one he tries to employ against Chimaev. But what do you think? Do you see DDP making it into the later rounds against Chimaev? And if so, could we see Boers handed his first loss? Paddy Pimblett squashes beef with Dustin Poirier. Dustin Poirier made headlines a little while ago on account of how he shot down the possibility of fighting Paddy Pimblett, but it looks like the baddie isn't holding it against the renowned fighter. For some time now, there's been extensive speculation regarding who and when Poirier will fight next. Following Poirier's loss to Islam Makhachev last summer, the Diamond eventually announced his next fight would be his last. While a lot of fans proposed that Poirier throw hands with Pimblett for his final fight, but the former interim lightweight champ proclaimed that he's only interested in fighting, quote, legends. Since then, Pimblett has been booked to fight Michael Chandler at UFC 314 April 12th, but in a recent video that went up on the baddie's YouTube channel, he relayed he has no problem with Poirier, even though he thinks the veteran should fight out his UFC deal.
Nate putting up, fight Paddy, beater, legendary that, you know, everyone loves Nate Diaz. I feel disrespected. I understand what he's saying, legends only. I'm not a legend, and he could earn more money on a pay-per-view fighting someone else, but why would he retire after one fight, lad? Stop being a you know what I mean? Fight your contract out, have a few fights. Just had a good fight with Islam, you know what I mean? And then Chandler put a tweet up, which is funny. I think he was taking the piss out of Dustin, saying, scared to fight Patty. But come on, Chandler, you know how to spell my name, lad. It's not Patty. I'm not a burger. Paddy, lad. Double D.
Pimblett does deserve a little bit of praise for not taking the legend's comments personally. While there's no doubt that the Liverpool fighter's establishing himself as one of the biggest names in the UFC, he hasn't reached Poirier's level yet. As this video is being produced, there's still no word on who Poirier is going to fight. For a while, there was a lot of talk that he could end up fighting Justin Gaethje again, but the latter was ultimately booked to fight Dan Hooker at UFC 313. Jamahal Hill reacts to Jiri Prochazka loss. We haven't heard much from Jamahal Hill since he was stopped by Jiri Prochazka at UFC 311 in January, but recently, sweet dreams opened up about his latest defeat. Hill was booked to fight his fellow former light heavyweight champion following his stoppage loss to the current king Alex Pereira in April of 2024. In the second frame, the outspoken fighter managed to outstrike Prochazka, but in round 3, the Czech samurai stunned Hill badly, and the bout was stopped not long after. Well, in the video Hill recently shared, he reflected on the loss. In addition, the contender also explained why he thinks the bout was stopped a bit too soon.
Shout out to Jiri. He made great adjustments. He looked really good. Brought in some new elements to his game. It was a war. Went back and forth. Former champions. I felt like comfortability was a little off. You know, didn't really get into my rhythm. Didn't really get into my flow. Still showed up. Thoughts on the fight? Good opponent. Haven't really been able to be in the fights as much as I want to over the last couple years since I won the title due to injury and things like that. I wish that it hadn't been stopped, but I would have liked to go out on my shield. If he's gonna put me out, that it is what it is at that point. You know, I know what I signed up for.
Do you agree with Hill that he should have been given another moment or two to battle his way out? Or do you think the referee just rescued him from taking more punishment? All that aside, it'll be interesting to see who Hill faces next. Currently, he's ranked number 4 in the UFC's 205 division. UFC Fight Updates. Let's take a look at some of the fights that have recently been reported. Iridium Sports Agency recently announced that Victor Henry will fight Pedro Falcao in a bantamweight contest at the UFC's April 5th Vegas card. Henry will look to get back on track after he was submitted by Charles Jourdain in November. That defeat followed Henry's stoppage win over Hani Yahya in April. Falcao is also coming off a loss, as he dropped a decision loss to Victor Hugo in April. And in another bantamweight contest that's been booked for the April 5th Vegas card, AG Fight is reporting that Davey Grant will throw hands with Daniel Santos. Grant recorded a decision victory over Ramon Tavera in December, which marked the first time he competed since June 2023, when he lost by a split decision to Daniel Marcos. Santos hasn't fought since June 2023, when he worked his way to a decision win over Johnny Munoz Jr. Santos, who's had several bouts canceled over the last couple of years, stopped John Castaneda in his fight before that, which was back in October 2022. AG Fight also recently reported that Alan Nascimento will battle Jafel Filho in a flyweight scrap at the UFC's May 31st Vegas card. Nascimento went through 2024 without fighting, as his last bout was in January 2023 when he tapped out Carlos Hernandez. In his fight prior to that, in May of 2022, he recorded a decision win over Jake Hadley. Filio submitted Adi Osborne in his last fight, which took place in March of 2024. That followed his submission win over Daniel Barez in July of 2023. And Fight Analyst LLC recently posted that flyweight Matt Schnell will take on Jimmy Flick at the UFC's April 26 card in Kansas City. Schnell is likely in a must-win situation, as the veteran is coming off a submission loss to Cody Durden in September, which was his third straight loss. Flick last competed in June when he dropped a decision loss to Nate Maness. The grappling-centric fighter submitted Malcolm Gordon in his last fight before that, which went down in January 2024. Alexander Volkanovski grappling with Aljamain Sterling for UFC 314 fight. Aljamain Sterling has been helping Alexander Volkanovski get ready for his upcoming scrap with Diego Lopez, and a recent video captured the former champion testing Volk's grappling prowess. Volkanovski recently headed to Thailand to get some training in at the Bang Tao Gym, and since then, it was announced he'll battle Lopez for the now vacated featherweight title on April 12th. In this video, Sterling had Volk working on his rear naked choke defense, before noting that the Australian fighter is in great shape just weeks out from UFC 314.
Came here and I was like, no, you're not in shape. This is shape.
He's in shape, right?
He's in really good shape right now. To be this far out and to be moving like this is unreal.
And recently, Sterling also made this head-turning response. Some people actually watch fights and break them down. It'll be a fun fight because of how Lopez fights, but if Lopez doesn't clean up these holes, then Volk will regain the title. Your post is an honest assessment of his past few fights, not including the Ortega fight, of course. That bout aside, it's not clear when Sterling will fight next. Following his tightly contested decision loss to Movsar Evloev in December, recently, Evloev used social media to call on the UFC to book him a bout at either featherweight or lightweight. That prompted Sterling to respond with this: "Let's go 5 rounds, winner gets the next shot." And when one fan noted that they can't knock Sterling for calling for a rematch with Evloev, knock me for what? I agreed to fight Pitbull in April. As I've been away and also handling personal matters, I can't take short notice fights where I'm clearly not ready anymore. I asked for March in December. I was offered March about 2.5 weeks ago. And as fans followed up with comments, Sterling noted, "You guys do know I'm referring to Pitbull. Movsar rematch wasn't offered, lol. This thread is longer than it needs to be." It's interesting to hear that the UFC called Sterling about fighting Patricio Pitbull, who has since been booked to face Yair Rodriguez at UFC 314. Do you think Sterling would have been a tougher matchup for the former Bellator champ? Ilia Topuria following Conor McGregor after move to 155? Many people have claimed that Ilia Topuria is trying to copy Conor McGregor, even though he's harshly criticized the controversial star recently. But according to Alexander Volkanovski's coach, Topuria's move to lightweight shows he's trying to follow McGregor's career path. If you follow Topuria, you know that he's acknowledged that McGregor and his fighting career was an inspiration for him. Others, however, have argued that Topuria actually mimics McGregor with what he says, his tattoos, and more. As noted, more recently, Topuria has made it clear he's lost all respect for the former champ. Well, following the news that Topuria has vacated the featherweight crown and is moving up to lightweight, Volk's coach, Joe Lopez, told Submission Radio this: "I spoke to his coaches and everything else, but on all accounts, I think he struggles to make that featherweight division. I guess he's won that title and he wants to follow the same path as Conor McGregor, and good luck to him if he makes that much money. I'd do it as well." Really, you can't fault Topuria for wanting to win another division's title, just as McGregor did. The big question is, however, can Topuria beat one of the galaxy's best pound-for-pound fighters in Islam Makhachev, assuming that bout becomes a reality? What do you think? During the post-fight press conference last night, Dana White cleared the air on what happened behind the scenes with Ilia Topuria and said that Islam Makhachev is not 100% guaranteed for him.
He said, "I've done everything I can do here. I'm ready to move up," and he vacated it. He said, "I shouldn't be holding up anybody's opportunities, and I respect when guys do that." I don't think he loved making that weight anymore.
But is it safe to say that Ilia Islam is the fight that we're sort of working towards?
There's still other possibilities, so there's a lot of going on right now.
MMA community goes off on Dana White for comments. Last night during the post-fight presser, Dana White revealed that Sean O'Malley versus Merab Dvalishvili is next, since they want to fight each other and the fans want to see it.
Sean O'Malley looking likely to rematch Merab, right? And we just got the Sandhagen announcement too. How did we get there with so many different options, I think, for Sean O'Malley, especially with him, so many options?
They want to fight each other. I think people want to see it.
The MMA community was not happy with these comments and went off on Dana for giving O'Malley a title shot when he only had one title defense against Chito Vera. Here's what the community thinks. "No, we don't. O'Malley is getting gifted a rematch. Jan deserves it. I know their thought process is we must hook up Sugar at all costs. But gifting an undeserved rematch where he gets 50-45 again is just putting the nail in the coffin. Are the ones who want the rematch in the room with us? Of course Merab wants to fight Sean. It's a walkover that includes publicity, and Sean probably also wants to see if he could fluke himself to another belt. Nobody's asking for this fight, you just want to treat that clown like a baby. This is why I don't like O'Malley. He got Dana White privilege, just like Chandler. This is O'Malley defended of all people against Chito Vera, and now he wants a title shot after a loss, especially in a stacked division like bantamweight. This makes zero sense. The people don't want this. Book the Yan vs Merab rematch. Nobody wants to see this. Yan has earned the rematch. Do you want to see this fight? It feels like a lot of people weren't too happy with Dana White's comments here, but let us know what you think down in the comments below.